Hey everybody, I'm Wohlers Wolt, and one thing I feel I often see is people miscalculate the break-even points on their credit cards with annual fees, and this could lead to keeping credit cards that aren't nearly as beneficial to you as you think they are. So in this video, we're going to look at how to calculate the break-even point. But first, if you're new to this channel is all about credit cards, credit card rewards, and showing you how you can use your points and miles to travel for less. So if something that interests you, consider subscribing and turning the bell notification on as well. Also, consider giving this video a thumbs up. It really does help the channel out. Now, I'm always going to tell you to run the numbers, whether it's for a particular reward redemption or to keep a credit card open, because the math is just so important. Because just blindly following what others are doing is a terrible way to decide if a credit card's right for you. But when it comes to the annual fee on credit cards, I feel people often use the wrong equation or a partial equation to calculate the break-even point. Now, when I do this, I'm looking at the long-term value of keeping a credit card because bonuses are a quick injection of points, and I don't feed into this idea that credit card bonuses pay for X number of years of annual fees. I really don't care about that. I don't keep cards because a bank offered me 50 or 100,000 bonus points. And when that annual fee is due, how does that card benefit me at that point? I don't care what that card offered me 12 months ago. That's like deciding to stay in a bad relationship because your boyfriend or girlfriend took you to a fancy restaurant 9 months ago. And what I see people often do is they take the annual fee and they divide it by the earning rates of the credit card times the value of those points, and then they stop here after they get that number. But I feel they stop too early because it gives an incorrect break-even point. Now, for example, if you were to take the Chase Sapphire Reserve, that card comes with a $550 annual fee, but it does have $300 in travel credits, but you don't earn any rewards for those purchases when you're using the travel credit. And if you're someone who's watching this channel, I'm going to assume you're going to spend $300 on travel to begin with. So we could say that brings our effective annual fee down to about $259 because you don't earn rewards and that $300 travel credit, which I value about $9. So if you're looking at the 3x earning rates on travel and dining, you could at a minimum calculate the value of those points at 4.5% because you can redeem through the Chase Travel Portal at 1.5 cents per point. So some would say you only need to spend $5,755 on travel and dining to break even on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. But this is only part of the equation, and either people don't want to look at the other part, or maybe they just don't know about the other part. Because when you say $5,755 is the break-even point, you're only looking at that card in a vacuum. But in reality, there are a ton of cards on the market, so there's always a comparison to be made. And at a minimum, you should be comparing all of your purchases to a 2% no annual fee credit card, or the highest no fee card you have in that given category in your credit card portfolio. But for these examples, we'll use a 2% cashback card since 2% is the lowest you should be earning on any purchase. And this changes our equation. Now we're calculating the break-even point by taking the effective annual fee and divide it by the difference in the reward earnings. So if we go back to that Chase Sapphire Reserve example, this is taking our $259 effective annual fee and dividing it by the difference from the Chase Sapphire Reserve to the Citi Double Cash for those travel and dining purchases, which is a 2.5% difference. So now we went from a break-even point of $5,755 to now a break-even point of $10,360 for the Chase Sapphire Reserve when you compare it to a 2% option. And this is going to change based on the cards you have in your portfolio and how you value your points, because as you build a rotation, you're going to have a lot of options for a given category. Then taking a look at the benefits. Now, benefits can adjust the equation as well, but this is going to be subjective based on how you value your benefits, how often you use your benefits, and even if your credit card has any extra benefits at all. Now, you should only be subtracting out credits if you plan to use them to begin with. And in many cases, I don't value credits at 100% of their value unless you were already spending money on those categories to begin with. And what I mean here is I don't think you can value a benefit like the Uber credits at $200 on your Platinum card because you can buy Uber gift cards at a discount and use other methods as well to reduce your Uber costs. So while you're getting $200 from your Platinum card, you can buy it for less. So I don't feel you can really say you're getting $200 in value for that reason. And when it comes to benefits, I actually break them up into tangible benefits and benefits with potential value. Intangible benefits are ones that have a dollar amount tied to them like a credit. For example, the Saks Fifth Ave credit from the American Express Platinum card has a dollar value attached to it. And for me, since I don't shop at Saks, I value this benefit at $0. But if you're someone who does shop at Saks, you might value this at $40. But benefits with potential value are the ones you don't get any benefit from unless something were to happen and you ended up using those benefits. A good example of this would be trip delay coverage. Unless your flight is delayed, and triggers this benefit, it doesn't provide you any tangible value. It may give you peace of mind, but the benefit you receive from it is still $0. But it seems far too often people give inflated values for their tangible benefits or value to benefits they don't use to help them justify their annual fee. I mean, if you don't rent cars, then primary auto rental coverage means nothing for you, and I think you'd be hard pressed to give that a dollar value since you don't use it. For example, when I head out to San Francisco, I'm actually renting a car and I'm using my Altitude Reserve to pay for the car rental since I earn triple points for that purchase, but I also get primary auto rental coverage. But this is only the second time I have rented a car in the last 6 years of travel. The other was being for Iceland. So while this might save me $50 on this trip by declining the coverage, I use this benefit so little, it's negligible to me in the big picture. Now, if I get into an accident, then this benefit becomes more valuable to me since I don't have to file a claim with my insurance company. And if I don't get into an accident, what did I receive by using this card over a different credit card I have? Just a few extra points. And if I didn't have the auto rental coverage, I really wouldn't mind it because I use it so infrequently. But if you happen to use certain benefits frequently enough, like lounge access, then sure, put a dollar value on that benefit and then by all means subtract that from your effective annual fee to help you determine your break-even point. But I think you need to look at the benefits on the back end or do some sort of recalculation when your annual fee comes due, since it might not be reasonable to do this before you actually travel, since things can always change. Because let's say you value lounge access at $5 per use, but you only use lounge access 2 times in a year, then you would have only received $10 in value. But if you were to use lounge access 50 times in a year, then you would be able to calculate that at $250 in value. Because when it comes to benefits, you have options as well. So if the main reason why you got the Chase Sapphire Reserve was for Priority Pass lounges, but you don't access it more than 10 times in a year, you would effectively be overpaying for lounge access by keeping the Chase Sapphire Reserve since you can buy it cheaper with the Hilton Surpass card. And then as you look to travel protections, those are great if you were to use them, and they give you some great peace of mind. But I think it's hard to give a tangible value to them because there's only value if you had to use them, which is why with potential benefits, I think you need to look in retrospects and assign value based on actual use. And then again, there are different levels of protections based on the credit card that you have and the different credit cards that are on the market. So when we take into account our benefits, I think the equation will change and look something like this. It'll be your effective annual fee minus the tangible benefits plus the potential benefits if you were to use them divided by the difference in our rewards earning rates. And that will give you your break-even point to help you determine if you can justify keeping that credit card. So let's go back to our example one more time with the Chase Sapphire Reserve and say you value lounge access at $5 per use and you used it 13 times over the year and you also use your DoorDash credit which you valued at $50. We would then subtract $65 in benefit we received from the lounge access and the $50 from DoorDash as well from our $259 effective annual fee. This would further reduce our effective annual fee to $144. And as we divide the difference in rewards from the Sapphire Reserve to a 2% cash back card, our break-even point changes to $5,760, and from there you can decide if a card is worth it or not. So calculating a break-even point is more than just looking at one card in a vacuum, because there are multiple variables to look at. And depending on your rotation or portfolio of cards, you might have cards that earn more than 2% back in a given category. And it can really change where your break-even point is, and it may be higher than you think. So tell me, how do you calculate your break-even point? Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in this video. If you want to help support the channel, a simple way would use links on the website or in the description below. Until next time, safe travels and take care.